Hey guys, welcome back to Hammered Pair. Today I'm going to be talking about backup guns slash pocket pistols. A lot of people carry pocket pistols as their only gun, pocket pistols being extremely subcompact pistols, 22 LR, 22 Magnum, 25 auto, 32 auto. And while they do have their place, I don't recommend them as a primary carry gun. James Yeager once said, as long as you have a good primary pistol, your second gun is free. You say, well, I don't necessarily want to carry two pistols, and I get it. Guns are already heavy, bulky, cumbersome, pain in the ass to deal with, but there are a lot of advantages to carrying a second pistol. The main one being, I can give this gun to somebody else if I see a fight coming, okay? So a lot of people go out in public, their spouses don't carry guns but may know how to shoot. They may have a son or a daughter who's not old enough to carry, but they know how to shoot as well. You see a bad situation coming, you see a band of vagrants coming down the street. This is not legal advice, but theoretically you could sneak them that second pistol and say, hey, if anything goes down, go after me or follow after my lead and use it to defend your life, etc., etc. Cops do this all the time, where they pull up to a scene and an off-duty cop who doesn't carry a gun on when he's in civilian clothes, which is asinine. But an off-duty officer responds to the issue first. He shows up to the scene just because he's right there. Uniformed police officer shows up, hands him the pistol, hands him the backup pistol, I should say, and they rock and roll from there. There are other reasons why you would carry a second pistol. One being your primary goes down. It's gonna if you have an angel pisses in the flintlock of your musket moment, having a second pistol to try and rectify the situation would be great. You have a catastrophic malfunction in your main carry gun, you're going to want something to be able to continue the fight with. Another reason, you ran out of ammunition. Extremely low chances that you ran out of ammunition in a civilian gunfight. Almost never happens. In fact, according to active self-protection, excuse me, bear with me, I've got a bit of a cold right now, so I'm kind of nasally and stuttering over myself. According to active self-protection, he has never seen a civilian reload a concealed carry weapon during a gunfight. Not talking about law enforcement, just civilians only in his case studies. However, I don't want to necessarily limit the amount of tools I have in my disposal just because of statistical anomalies. I am a magnet for bad luck, and some of you may be too. So having a secondary weapon may not be the worst thing in the world. So we talk about backup guns. Generally, there are a couple different ways to carry them. Pocket carry is a way, not necessarily the best way. It's a very slow draw time, but hey, it's better than nothing. If you're wrestling somebody and you're in the guard or you have someone in their guard, it's going to be extremely difficult to get a pistol out of a pocket. Another way is ankle carry. Galco ankle gloves are great. Basically, it's a merino wool lined holster that you wrap around your ankle and sucks the gun up to your ankle. Very easily concealable. A little more difficult to access because you either have to take a knee or you have to bring your leg up to you. That's a great way to carry if you're a truck driver, someone who goes on long road trips pretty often, because if you do get in a situation, it's a lot easier when you're sitting down to bring your leg up to you, draw the gun, engage threat, etc., etc. Or if you're wrestling on the ground, someone's on top of you, you can bring that leg up to access your firearm. But mainly we want to have a second gun to arm someone else. James Yeager once said that I don't really care what your backup gun is as long as your primary gun is acceptable. What he means by that is high capacity, modern caliber, and reliable when it comes to your primary gun. The Glock 19 and other companies' Glock 19s, the M&P 2.0, etc., etc. Those all fit the bill. As long as you have a good primary weapon, you can carry whatever you want as a secondary gun because it's the backup. Like I said, it's a statistical anomaly to have to deploy a backup gun in a fight. So when we talk about calibers, your main backup gun calibers are going to be the same ones that are mainstream for your traditional primary carry gun. You're going to have 45 ACP, 40 Smith & Wesson, 380, 9mm, and then we start getting into some of these smaller, more anemic cartridges. 32 Smith & Wesson, 32 ACP, 22 short, 22 long, 22 Magnum, 25 ACP. Okay? All of these smaller calibers, anything smaller, more anemic than a 380 for the most part, they are not great primary rounds. They're very small, they have very low velocities, and they're very light in grain weight. For example, this 32 ACP round here is 71 grains. Very small compared to 115 grain 9mm. Now, these are both ball rounds, but you get the picture. And they scale down from there. 25 ACPs, even smaller, borderline 25% smaller than the 32 automatic. When we talk about 22 long rifle as a secondary backup gun round, 22 is everywhere. I don't hate it if you have a backup gun chambered in 22. A lot of people have been shot and killed by 22. It's not the most dangerous caliber in the world. There's not a database that tracks how many people have been shot by 22 versus other calibers. It's just not a thing. But it's plentiful. Everyone and their mother has a 22. So if you've got a little baby Browning laying around, 25 ACP, or a little North American Arms 22, that might be an acceptable backup gun. Hey, at least you're carrying two. One is none, two is one, three is better. So today I'm going to be showing you something I just picked up. This is a Kel-Tec P32 chambered in. Get that camera to focus. Chambered in 32 ACP. I'm going to run a couple drills with it. Some of them are going to start with my primary weapon, and then switch to my secondary, just to give a little demonstration. Obviously, any pocket draw is going to be incredibly slow compared to your primary draw. But hey, get some reps in, see what kind of work we can do with this. This guy's never been fired, so I'm interested to see how she shoots and what kind of groups we can get with it. This is one of those guns that I would consider a headshot-only weapon. The caveat to that is if you're in the clinch or on the ground and you're wrestling with somebody, you could very effectively put this gun up against them, pull the trigger, and when you have a gun pressed up against somebody, you get about a 25 to 30% wound channel, just because of all the excess gas that normally escapes around the muzzle is now going directly into the body following the path of a bullet. So I'm going to load this guy up, and we're going to get some rounds through it. Stay tuned. All right. P32, about 3 yards, 71 grain ammunition. Malfunction. Don't love that. But 3 yards, 2-inch group. These sights are not great. They're pretty much trough sights. See if I get the camera to show this. But see your sight picture. Come on. Yeah, your sight picture is a trough with a small white triangle at the top. Yeah, there you go. So not great sights, obviously. For guns like this, you're going to be dealing with extremely close range scenarios. I am not taking a headshot with this at 25 yards. It's just come on, I'm not playing the hostage game with a pocket pistol like this. So I'm gonna load her up and put a few more rounds through it. Switch to one hand only because there's no world in which I'm pulling out a secondary pistol and getting two hands on the gun. It doesn't make sense, especially because my hands are really small, but I can still only get 2 fingers around the stock of this pistol. So, all right, one-handed, going for headshots. Malfunction, failure to extract. Uh, 14 rounds in, and we've had 2 malfunctions already. Not looking good. All right, now I'm going to demonstrate a couple transitions going from primary handgun to backup gun. Stop! Another malfunction. This is PMC bronze ammunition. I mean, it's training ammunition, full metal jacket, but they generally make really good shit. So, probably the gun guys. Stop! Not even a box in, we've had 3 malfunctions so far. Clearing malfunctions on this, guys, it sucks. The slide is so small that to get a good purchase on it, you've really got to be precise with your grip placement and how you actually clamp it down with your fingers. There's not a whole lot of real estate to grab onto, and that's one of the biggest problems with pocket pistols and these really small micro guns. They're usually not as reliable as your mainstream carry pistols. So, you know, the gun's going to malfunction more, and clearing that malfunction is more difficult on these smaller pistols. It's why we're calling them backup guns. I don't want to get into a fight for my life with something that's going to malfunction often and is difficult to clear. Okay? People who are betting their life on these anemic, low round, unreliable pistols as their primary carry are honestly foolish. Okay? At the very best, guns like this are backup guns. Stop! Hey man, listen, I don't want any trouble, okay? Just leave me alone. Just be like, stop! Malfunction number 6. I haven't even gotten through 100 rounds yet. crazy. For context, my Gen 5 Koa, I've been at about 4,000 rounds. I've only had it for 2 months now. Zero malfunction that I didn't induce intentionally. I like using snap caps because it makes it a little bit more spicy to train, but I digress. Hey man, listen, I don't want any trouble. Listen, here. Take my wallet. There you go. Right there. Here, take my phone too. Oh no, it's a double feed. Fucking work. It would not have worked in real life. I would have been so cooked. All right, so this obviously isn't a handgun review per se. Normally, you would want to put a carry pistol through the ringer. I would take it through at least a class before I said that, hey, this is a good pistol to defend yourself with. Class is generally 500 to 1,000 rounds a day. 6 malfunctions in 100 rounds, okay, with this P32 from Kel-Tec. Good news is it's a secondary, so the statistical anomaly that requires me to deploy a backup gun is magnified by the statistical anomaly that I'm going to have, or the statistical probability that I'm going to have a malfunction with this gun to gunfight. These are PMC bronze 71 grain full metal jacket rounds. I have a suspicion that hollow point ammunition is not going to do very well in this gun. I have a feeling it's going to get caught up on the feed ramps. Like I said, it's a hunch. It is not for sure. But generally with these smaller guns, full metal jacket ball ammunition feeds better than hollow point ammunition because the crater in the round gets hung up on the feed ramp. But I digress. So, considerations as to why you would not carry a backup gun. There are a couple. One being Hicks' Law. So Hicks' Law says that the more options you have, or for every additional option you have at your disposal, your reaction time will double. So if I have 2 handguns on my person and I go to draw because I'm in a fight for my life, it's going to take me twice the time to decide which weapon I'm going to use at my disposal than it would be if I only had the one gun. So that's a problem. Another advantage I should say is, let's say you get mugged and theoretically the bad guy really doesn't want to hurt you. He just wants your shit. But he notices you have a gun and you put yourself in such a bad position that you allow yourself to be disarmed. I would recommend that if any bad guy ever notices that you have a weapon while you're actively in a self-defense encounter, full throttle, fight to the fucking death. But if you do put yourself in a bad situation and allow your primary to get taken away, having the secondary to deploy would be very beneficial. It's very, if I was a bad guy, which I'm not, if I was a street rat, I would be shocked if someone that I mugged, 1, had a gun to begin with, and 2, had 2 guns. So that's just theoretical, not advice in any way, shape, or form. But it's nice to have another option. Now, really, having good hand-to-hand combat skills is necessary for survival. So if you guys don't practice BJJ, Muay Thai, Judo, any of that, I would really recommend doing it. Having good hand skills in conjunction with carrying a gun is really the recipe for success, whether you carry a backup gun or not. People say, oh, that's just, I don't want to carry 2 guns. It's too much work. Listen, Old West gunfighters carry 2 pistols every day of the week, okay? Guys before that carried braces of pistols back when we had single barrel flintlock pistols. They carry 4 to 6 pistols in a brace in a chest rig. You can get away with it. It's really just up to you as to, determine your threat analysis. Do your threat analysis and determine if it's the right choice for you to carry a second gun. Back when I was doing personal security, working at gun stores, et cetera, I carried a Glock 19 Appendix and I carried a Glock 17 Strong Side. So my backup gun was a Glock 19. So you can scale your backup guns up and down. Never hurts to be too prepared, but I digress. So this is really just want to lay all these points out there. I do not recommend these anemic cartridges for your primary gun. I do not recommend that you pocket carry guns, especially as your primary. And people who do both of those things are optimistic and setting themselves up for failure. So, hope you guys enjoy this presentation. I'm Levi with Hammered Pear. Sell your cloak.